Hello everybody! How's it going? So I'm just gonna level with everybody. It's really, really hot where I'm at. So just gonna turn this down a little bit. There we go. Hey Zan, how's it going? So it's really, really hot. I live in a desert. I don't have the greatest air conditioning, so I have to have a fan on me. And what I've been finding is that it's really hard to actually paint because the paint is drying before I even get it to the model. But we're gonna try our best today. Let's go, Zan. So exciting news. I'm going to be going back to Playon, so I'm going to be doing a lot of like stress painting. So after Geigor, I'm probably going to do some orcs. I'm painting this guy as like my off-stream project. So this is my, and again, I still don't know why this thing has a hard time focusing, but it does. But so he's going to be my general. Is he? No, he's not gonna be my general, but he's a tyrant. And I haven't, so I'm starting to block out the colors because I'm trying to see how everything sort of fits together. And there's a lot of neutral colors except for his pants. So I was thinking, maybe I painted the cape thingy the wrong color. So if you have, if you have any ideas what goes well with kind of like a purpley kind of color. Also, this is not the right color. Let me see if I can fix this. This particular camera is always a pain. I should really just cash in my Patreon money and put it towards a 4K camera because this thing's like the bane of my existence. So let's see here. White balance. Oh, that's even worse. That's closer. That's probably closer to the actual color. Would a humidifier fix the issue of paint drying? I'm not sure. I considered getting like an atomizer for like directly on my painting station. So I'm not sure it is an option. I might pick one up just because I do paint a lot. So, and now I have to paint, like I don't have the option, like I have to. Last time I went down in the summer, it was really hot too. It was like 50 degrees or something, and then I had to actually paint at the game store because they had proper air conditioning. I might have to do that again. We'll see. Just see how badly you can screw up the colors. So if you have any ideas of what could work, so I'm kind of leaning towards like a dark blue, almost black, because then it would sort of go with my Beastclaw Raiders, half of my Ogre army, but those are like my two options. But I do think it needs like more dark, because this is going to be dark brown, like all these little horny things. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave the inside of it like this kind of color because I think that looks really nice with the purple. But yeah, I think I might do a really dark kind of color on the outside, but I'm gonna try it and see how it goes. But today we're gonna be working more on Geigor. So we're gonna be doing so we're gonna be doing some red color blocking. Okay, get all that stuff gone. A small humidifier can go for under 20 bucks. Might give it a shot then. And yeah, I don't know if I can zoom this in for you. I am gonna try and zoom it in. And see if it'll still focus, because that's my issue. It's like it just has such a hard time focusing on auto. Yeah, see, I don't know why. As soon as I zoom it in, it just does not want to even come close to focusing. Let's see here. What if I do this? Like literally no difference. guess we zoom back out. Maybe. There we go. That auto back on. Yeah, so you put the auto. Okay, it's not terrible, I guess. I'm probably gonna have to get a 4K camera though. Hey, Pezler, how's it going? What about a fog machine? That would be amazing. My goodness. This camera, y'all. It's like, I even put it like farther away from the model to see if it like actually would focus, and it just does not want to. So, I don't know if it's the camera? We'll just have to go all the way out, I guess. See what we can do here. We just will do our best, and I will consider cashing out my Patreon for it. Okay. So, I'm gonna follow the red that I did on Ragnar Blackmane, which is this beautiful man right here. But in order to get the base coat down, it is this Scarlet Red by Game Color. So we're gonna start blocking with this. Hey Jude, how's it going? Oh, Jude, you're going to be super excited to hear that I'm going to be returning to painting my orcs very soon. I'm going to actually make a list, I think. I'm going to start thinking about a list to start playing again. I'm going to start thinking about it today. So I'm just going to grab my codex and then run to the air-conditioned room after this and start thinking about ideas. Okay, so all of the little jewels are going to be red. Oh, I'm going to actually do some black at the same time, I think. I'm going to do some black. And because I normally don't like this black because it's quite runny compared to what I like, but I'm going to actually use it today just because it might work like a normal paint with it being so hot. To my eternal shame and detriment, I have ordered a resin printer. Why shame? My entire orc army is resin. Once I start getting my game tables and display board set up, I might have to pick up a little fog machine for some ambiance. Yeah. That would be so cool. It's pretty fun for me to see like the really cool shots and stuff that PlayOn does of my army, and all of the tips and tricks they have to make it look so cool and to tell a story. So, I mean, the dream is that I get comfortable enough that I could one day film my own battle reports. That's something I wouldn't mind doing. I'm just not there yet. You know, like once I get better at not giving a crap about the internet comments and stuff, I think it'll be something that I can pursue. But it's funny too, because every time I'm like, man, do I keep doing all this stuff? Then like my friends at PlayOn will send me a message, or Mini Wargamer Dave will send me a message or whatever, and it just makes me feel like I've made a lot of really cool, really nice friends from this hobby, and that I would be silly just to give it all up. Night Lords need the spookiness that only Dark and Foggy can provide. I would agree with that. I would totally agree. Life was kind of terrible because I was going over to Seattle to see my dad, but my sister's car's engine overheated and we got stranded for 6 hours over at this place called Leavenworth. That does sound like a nightmare. Did everything end up okay? Are you back home now? Or are you still stranded there? hope you're okay. I once got stranded on a Canadian highway on the way, where was I going? I think I was going back to Mission after visiting my dad in Kelowna. I was a kid too, so my mom was driving, and my sister and I were fighting. I was like, why don't you guys go play in the ditch? And because we were waiting for the car to cool down so that we could actually start it up again and head into Hope for repairs. And it's like, it's the summer, and my sister and I were just about to get out of the car, and a bear literally walked out from where we were gonna go play in the ditch. And yeah, so that's my funny bear story. God, this paint's drying so fast. It's so hard to work with. Like, I do have a wet palette here, it's just like everything dries out like immediately. You have to thin it down so much. It's honestly been a nightmare. I'm just gonna bring this light around so I can get rid of some shadows here for me. I hope you wished Dave a happy birthday. I did, actually. We talked a little bit the day before. He's in Calgary, and I was like, oh, are you gonna go to Sentry Box? I've heard Sentry Box is... Well, I've heard from people who've been there that it's gigantic. It's a gigantic gaming store, so it's got like D&D and Pokemon cards and Warhammer and comic books and like literally anything. And yeah, I've heard that it's absolutely huge. So he was thinking about checking it out. I should see if he actually did. It was made even worse based on the fact that it was blazing hot outside. Yeah, it is the hottest time of the year. We managed to get back to my dad's at 1 a.m. in the morning. Oof. Well, I'm glad that you made it. I'm glad that you didn't cook too badly. Yeah, it can be kind of scary sometimes when you get stranded on the side of the road. Oh, and then last week I said that I had to do a bunch of cleanup on this guy, and I did it, but it didn't end up being that much, so I was very, very happy about that. Cleanup took like less than 5 minutes for sure. I like your play on tabletop video of your guard versus Steve. Do you ever still play guard? Honestly, I'm mainly playing Age of Sigmar right now, if I'm to be honest. And Play-On has asked me to come back, so I'm gonna be picking up 40k again, but so I guess like the long answer is no, but I still have them and they're still my favorite army. But I will be playing orcs, I think, when I go. So honestly, like, I slogged with guard for so long, like so long, and they were just so bad for so long, and we still don't have a book, and it's just kind of sad for me to think about the state of the game for Guard. So I put them down. When did I put them down? I think I put them down in October, and haven't played them since. Because it was just sad. Sad panda time. And I don't want to be sad while I play this game, so. Courtney is around Calgary, right? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't really want to like out where she is, but yeah, I don't think she's in Calgary. If anyone got cooked very badly, it was my sister. Her arms were covered in sores and her shoulders got very badly burnt. Ugh. Yeesh. Tanya versus Nick, please. I don't have any say in who I get to face. I really want to get Trader Guard. You would, Zan. You would. Okay, so I'm going to paint. I'm going to carefully paint this black. So these little bits here, and then inside here. I'm going to try, like, gosh, the paint is drying inside my brush. What a pain! Maybe if I just, like, make it super watery on the palette and do 2 thin coats? Okay. I took my doggy to the beach yesterday. We've been going to the beach a lot because it's super hot. And, oh, speaking of the devil there, because it's been super hot and he's part husky, so he needs lots of exercise. And so we went to the beach, and he really doesn't know how to swim. It's really cute. He just sort of like jumps through the water, but yesterday he learned that he can just walk normally in the water. So this is a big step towards learning how to actually swim. But there was this little, it looked like a tiny golden retriever. She was so cute. And he was like, this is my new friend. I love her. He's such a friendly guy. So they just played in the lake, and it was so cute. The one bad thing about using really watery paint is that it sometimes gets sucked up into the bristles, like up into the ferrule, and it's sometimes a little bit harder on your brush, but we make do with what we have. And we wash our brushes even better than we normally would. I know she's somewhere in that part of Canada between Winnipeg and Vancouver, so it's like a quarter of the world, really. Like, she is in Alberta, I know that. Not all news is bad. I've got a game lined up with Mr. Fish, Orcs versus Orcs. Ooh, that sounds super fun. So, I gotta make a list for my orcs, for my death skulls, and I'm thinking I'm gonna try just like a bunch of elite OBSEC units and see how that goes. I need a tiny brush for this, I think. And see how that goes. It's been like a long time since I played 40k. I have no idea what's good, especially for orcs. So, yeehaw. Let's go. I'll get to see another orc army in person. Well, I'm super excited for you, Jude. Orcs are fun to play and fun to play against. So, and Mr. Fish is just an amazing human. So you will have a wonderful time. Trying to be a little bit careful because I don't want to repaint this like gold trim on the gem. So what's good for orcs is lots of bikers and buggies. I mean, it depends how you're playing though, does it not? Anyway, I don't have any buggies and I only have 3 bikes, so and I think that Death Skulls, its infantry is OPSEC. So, I'm probably going to be sticking with infantry keyword. I'm tempted to do a French Revolution inspired Trader Guard army, mainly because I want to make a Bane Blade named I can't even pronounce that. I'm not even going to try because I'm going to butcher that so badly. Like, I made this paint so watery and it's already a little bit dry in the palette. I'm also holding my breath because I'm trying to be careful. I actually like all the black details on the 30k Space Wolves. I don't see a lot of black. I guess you do. I guess you do. Depends what you're doing. But it just seems like there's more black on 30k stuff. And I woke up today and there's a bunch of smoke in the valley. Again, so again, if I have the sniffles, I'm sorry. I can't turn them off. Les majestés. It's the legal term for insults against the dignity of the crown. I mean, you could just call it that anyway. You filthy heretic. See, I missed a spot on this side. So what's like one thing that changed the way that you hobby? Because when I first started using a painting handle, I was like, oh my god, where has this been my entire life? Everything is so much easier with this thing in my life. guys have anything like that? I'm always so curious of like the things that become like deal breakers if you don't have them. Like I see some people painting without handles and I'm like, excuse me, have you heard about our Lord and Savior, the painting handle? I used to get hand cramps so bad from holding these teeny tiny models, and now I don't get that. I'm gonna have to do a touch up there because it's already dry. What a pain. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this particular piece of flair right here, I know it's shitty and you can't see, but it kind of looks like a scarab, and that makes me wonder if he... Did he take it for the Thousand Sun? I could, but I might as well build on the idea, you know, like why would they name the tank that, and work outward from the point to flesh out the concept. I like it. I mean, I really like themed armies, personally, so I like it. Oh, this camera makes me so sad sometimes, you guys. Should I just, like, bite the bullet and, like, buy a Brio right now on stream? Tempted. I'm tempted. I wish I could zoom in for you all, but I can't. Because it just doesn't focus. Techie people! I mean, I know how to use a camera. And that's why it's so frustrating to me, because I was like, well, maybe it's too close, so I moved the camera farther away. Like, that's literally as good as it's gonna focus. I added more light. I moved the camera farther away. And it just literally will not. What if I do that? I feel like you can see even less if I turn the exposure down. Techie people, help me. And work at work. Yeah, no, okay, I read that. I read that already. But yes, if you know anything about technology and you think that I can salvage this camera, let me know. But it might just be the universe trying to tell me to invest in a 4K camera. But I'll be damned if I use that 4K camera on my face. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Hey, Moobin, how's it going? I'm having camera issues. Hey, Moobin, what do you use when you stream? What camera? After weeks of this thing not focusing, I need to buy something else. What do you use? I was thinking about getting a Logitech Brio, because it's 4K, and then I can use it for other stuff too. But what do you use? Late to the stream. I see Geigor is still looking good. We're getting there. We're getting there. We are blocking in the black and the red today. Basically just color blocking. And gems are actually one of my favorite things to paint. I really like to paint like gemstones, whether they're like faceted like these or they're like cabochons like Eldar have. I really enjoy painting them. Okay, so I know his shoulder pauldrons, the insignia is red, but I know on his knees the insignia is black. Also not on Multiverse, I see. Recovering after attack poisoned me. Not actually, but that's the story I'm sticking with. My overhead for painting is just a C920 webcam. See, that's what I'm using, and it worked really well for a really long time, but now it just won't focus on anything, and it's really frustrating me. I've tried everything, and it just could be time to upgrade. I think it's probably just time to upgrade. I probably should have upgraded like a year ago, but you know, other things kept getting in the way. Too much the water. Also, movement. It's so hot here. It's like 30 degrees in my room right now. So it's really hard to get this paint consistency workable and not drying all the time. But we trying. Do you usually have it set to autofocus, or are you using OBS? I'm using OBS. I actually don't normally like autofocus, but it's working better than if I would set the focus. I literally cannot find a focus point for it. Like, it's so frustrating. This is too close to the actual lens, so it won't focus. But, yeah. It's frustrating. This is the coolest my room has been since in a week. It feels like 40 plus for the last week. Yeah, today it's like slightly better. Yesterday my wet palette parchment kept like curling within 10 minutes, and I was like, guess I'm gonna paint straight out of the pot then. Which, it had been years since I did that. But that was the only way to make any progress whatsoever. Hey Rob, how's it going? Yeah, I haven't painted or streamed in about a week. I mean, at a certain point, you can't really, like, before starting, I was pretty much reserved to this becoming, like, a just chatting stream because I just wasn't sure, like, how much I'd actually be able to do. But, you know, trying my best here. The most I've done is hand brush on priming some NCP. Yeah, my husband is like the rattle can master, and like he can rattle can prime whether it's like 40 degrees or minus 40 degrees. He's just like the best. So I normally just get him to rattle can all my stuff so I don't mess it up. It's been really cool returning to my ogre army to paint some stuff, because when I stopped painting my ogres, it was in a time where I was very insecure in my painting, and I felt like everything had to be perfect and I would fix every little mistake, and painting took forever. And now that I've sort of become a little more, I guess, secure in my abilities, or lack thereof, everything is going a lot faster. I'm really enjoying that fact. Like, I can't believe I painted all of this in just a couple hours yesterday. And honestly, I would have gotten more done if I wasn't unsure about the color of this cape. So, it's really cool to like see yourself sort of advance as a painter, even if it's not in technical skill, but maybe it's in like speed or something like that. I find that really cool. My wet palette is still wet from yesterday morning. Nice. That's how it is in like the fall to spring, but summer here, I literally live in a desert, so it gets a little dry. Just finished assembling the bone tithe nexus, barring permanently attaching the central pillar. Yeah, I would probably just sticky tack it down when you get to the store. It is a pain to try and lug that thing around. It is extremely big footprint. It is very tall, which is good though, because that means you can see pretty much everything on the board. And I say sticky tack just because I would never magnetize, because I don't have the patience for it. I also moved the camera up a little bit in the hopes that it would actually autofocus, and now my head keeps hitting it, so... Like a lot of stuff I need to paint is tiny details. When the paint dries on my brush before it hits the miniature, it's officially too damn hot to paint. Yeah. I agree, except that I don't have the option, so... Here we go. But I also use crappy brushes, so if they get wrecked, it's not like a huge deal. But I could see if you use good brushes, that'd be no bueno. It would be no bueno. How am I gonna get under there? I mean, I know how I would if I could see. I'm just gonna take this up a little bit so that I can actually see what I'm doing here. Just for a second. Okay. I'm sorry, I keep hitting the camera. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Some dids move in. Being bone dry is an understatement where you live, Tanya. I mean, to be fair, it is a La Nina year, so it's like not as dry as it normally is, but it's dry. I think we have like 35% humidity or something today, which is unheard of. Yeah, I only have my good brushes to use at the moment. Yeah, so I'm testing out these $4 brushes. They're white Taklon, and you can see I've used them a lot. They get stained super easy. I don't know... I could pick up some brush soap and see if they can get clean. So these are $4 a piece. And I like them. I like them. I'm not used to using such small brushes, because normally I like a big brush, but I do think that these are pretty cool for $4. I think I still prefer my 25-cent brushes, but the white Taklon is pretty nice. For how much I've actually used these, also, the bristles are holding up pretty good. So, $4, not a bad brush. They're not an investment brush, though. So I think I would still end up doing my 25-cent brushes. I feel like if you're using synthetic, like, don't spend money on synthetic because they all kind of just work the same. If you really want to invest in a brush and you're not too concerned about them being vegan or anything like that, then you could do sable. I do have a few concerns about the animals, so I don't use sable. I also just don't like sable, but... And again, that could be because I live in a desert, and I don't find that the sable holds the water as well. I'm gonna have to do some touch-ups on this one, but I think it'll be okay. Have you ever seen those videos of those, like, amazing painters on Instagram that have, like, one hair brushes? Amazing. And they do, like, all this fine, like, filigree stuff with it, like, blows my mind. It's also, like, visual ASMR, and I could watch that shit for hours. Fix this, y'all. Geigor's coming along nicely, thank you. I'm like, I feel like I'm at the ugly stage with him, personally, but I think it's, once that red, the highlights go on the red, I feel like it'll all start to come together for me. Because it's just, everything is quite dark. And I like there to be contrast. So once those highlights go on in that brighter red, I think I will be like, ooh, I see it now. Oh, don't slip, Tanya. I've not seen that, but it sounds insane, and I'm envious of talented painters and artists. I don't know if I'm envious. I'm pretty, like... I'm pretty content with my mediocrity at the moment. I wish I could be as okay with my mediocrity in actually playing the game as I am with my painting. So I think that's something that I'm going to work on, is just sort of like accepting that, you know, I'm just average painter, average player, and people aren't gonna like it, and poo-poo on them. Poo-poo on them. And yeah, Mubin, if I see some come up in my feed, I'll totally, like, tag you in it, because it's amazing. But don't compare yourself to them. Just, like, marvel at the amazing stuff that they're doing. I just feel like even I'm dried out right now. As long as you're having fun, that's the important piece. Right? And I feel like my discontent at mediocrity in terms of playing the game has been robbing me of my fun. And like trying to live up to the impossible standards that randos on the internet have arbitrarily set for me is also robbing me of my fun. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that. I need to learn just to tell people to F off and not like internalize their BS is what I need. So if anybody has any advice for me on how to achieve this goal of learning to stick up for myself. Because like in the heat of the moment, I get super upset. Like when people criticize me, I get really upset. And I'm talking criticize, not critique, because critique is different. But then, no, sorry. In the heat of the moment, I internalize. I'm like, oh, maybe I am a piece of crap. But then I think about it, and then I get angry. And I wish that I could just, like, skip the part where I internalize and just get straight onto the angry part. Like, I think it's okay to be angry, right? Okay, I need to check the box art because I'm not sure what color his scabbard is. See, Zan? Now I remember. His scabbard. I don't beat myself up when I'm comparing. My biggest setback to being artistic painting is the fact that I have aphantasia. I can't visualize things in my head. I think that's actually a benefit personally. And this is why. Because I used to have like a vision of what I wanted to accomplish with my painting, and then once I was finished it would never look anything like that, and then I would be so upset. And then I started to just like live in the moment and just paint and see how things ended up, and I've been a lot happier with my painting since starting to do that. So reframe it, and maybe it could be something that actually makes you an amazing artist. You're already an amazing artist, but you know what I mean. It's a hard thing learning not to care, right? Okay, so his scabbard is black, so we will do that. And that's why I build and play lists that I want and give 0 Fs about what people say. You're a bigger presence personality online than I am. My 5 seconds of fame is from my few times on Play on Tabletop. I don't think I have that big of a personality online, personally. Like, I don't think that, yeah, I don't think I have that big of a presence, honestly. Internalize your unit's BS, but not internet randos BS. I have the worst memory, so it's all on cue cards. But yes, that is what I need to learn. Build and play lists that I want and give 0 Fs about what people say. I mean, I do that. I do build lists that I want, and I don't tend to follow the meta or anything like that. It's a little bit harder when you go to play on tabletop, right? Because they want the games to be exciting, so you have to kind of, like, it's a collaborative effort to make lists, which is really cool, and it's pretty fun for me, personally, to do that. But yeah, and I like weird lists, so I don't like skew lists. I like to take really varied lists with lots of different types of units, and I do that because it looks cool on the table. It's literally the only reason why I take lists like that. But yeah, it's just so funny because in the comments, if you take a non-meta list, then the frickin' chuds will tell you don't know how to play the game. If you take a meta list, then like the narrative people call you a power gamer. So like literally there's no way to appease everybody. So I think I'm just gonna keep going ahead with lists that look cool on the table. It makes it a struggle when I have ideas but have no idea what it would actually look like. So when I have an idea, if I don't put it on the model, I won't know what the results will be. But that's what I'm saying is like, even though I don't have that, it's really disappointing when you have an idea in your head and you can see it and then you can't execute it, right? So, like, in a way, it could be something good for you, you know, because like even today, like if I had an idea of what I wanted to accomplish with these models, like this guy here, like I'd be so hella disappointed, right? Because like it didn't turn out anything like how I wanted it to, but I'm just living in the moment and trying stuff because it's paint, you can paint over it, right? Like how I ran a Chaos Knight list with 4 models. Love it. I get that with the BS. That's why I don't play certain classes online for certain games. I just don't want to deal with the anger for me not playing correctly. Right? It's like so frustrating. I feel like you have a bigger following, I guess would be more accurate. Okay. Fair enough. For Playon, it's a bit of a different beast, right? It's also funny in the comments because people will be like, oh, you didn't have a pre-game talk. But really, because the list building is collaborative, it's like you've been talking for weeks with your opponent about their list. So you don't really need to have a huge talk before the game. But there's just so much stuff in battle reports that people don't see. So it's like, it's hilarious that people say I don't know how to play the game because of X, Y, and Z when all that stuff is just not in a battle report. Oh, she didn't pre-measure anything! Well, yeah, I did. It's just, it's a 40-minute battle report and that stuff's boring. It needs to be cut out. Can you define skew list? Or is it skew list? That's the second one. So a skew list is where you basically find a unit that you think is good or fits your playstyle or whatever, and then you bring as many of that as possible. So like an example of a skew list, if you've been around for a year or so, would have been like the orc buggies list that was like super nerfed, right? Where you take just mostly buggies, maybe a couple planes, maybe like some mech guns or something, but the list was mostly buggies. And that would be a skew list, right? Because there's not a lot of infantry, there's not a lot of like heavy pieces, there's, you know, it just looks very similar. All the units look very similar on the table, fulfill a similar role as well on the table. So that is a skew list. And in my opinion, while those lists can be very powerful and be very problematic, there usually is a hard counter somewhere in the meta. Either that's some weird list that somebody brought that is just super counter meta or something along those lines. There can always be a super hard counter to that. Whereas if you bring something that's a little bit more varied in the pieces, it usually is less powerful in general, but is better into more matchups. And I like my army lists to be more like a Swiss Army knife rather than a hand grenade, if that makes sense. Yeah, you know what? I would rather say that my lists are like a tactical shovel, right? So they've got like the spade, you could actually use it as a shovel. You could use it to cut down trees, because it's also an axe. You could use it to, de-head people. It's got a compass in it. It's got, it's got like a little compartment in the handle you could like tuck stuff into. Like, that's the kind of lists that I like, that they can do lots of different things. I'm also almost guaranteed I'm gonna get ripped apart with the lists and decisions I made in my upcoming Bat Rep. Movin', I did actually put in a request that we could play someday, because I think that would be really fun. Hydra Queen, hello! Can't watch for long, work is slow right now, but could change. Well, I am just happy that you're here. If you take a meta list, they'll say you don't know how to play because your list won. It didn't win hard enough, then. That's right. I would honestly be happy if pre-measuring wasn't allowed. Wow, you could play Necromunda. Pre-measuring is not allowed in Necromunda. If you miss, you miss. And then you gotta start rolling to see what actually is hit. And I think that's hilarious. Hey Kyle, how's it going? I'm just doing some color blocking as much as I can. The paint is drying pretty fast on the brush, and it's making things a little difficult. Kyle, I'm gonna ask your edumacated artist opinion. So I'm painting up this guy. I'm sorry it won't focus, but you can kind of get the colors at least. And I'm feeling like besides the purple pants, he's very like monotone. And it's all pretty much like mid-levels, right? So it's like middle brown, middle metallics. It's not dark, it's not light. So I want to change this cape. What should I do with it? I was thinking about doing like really, really dark blue, almost black, because then it would kind of match my Beastclaw Raiders side of my army. But what do you think? I could also potentially do like an icy blue kind of color. It is leather, so these are all like sort of beasts that he could have possibly made leather out of in my army. So what do you think? I'm open to suggestions, but I think I need it to be light or dark. It can't be like a mid-tone. Pre-measuring is probably better or more fair. So I've seen this term going around, but what classifies a grudge match in 40k? It is also a hammer of Vulcan. A grudge match is usually just like you've fought this person once before and you want a second try, is usually a grudge match. It's normally like one person challenges the other to a rematch. Normally that's what that is. They haven't said anything to me yet. Also, with no pre-measuring, it can tilt relatively hard. Like, I'm pretty damn good with eyeballing measurements. I slipped a bit due to lack of 40k games. And see, I am not very spatially aware at all. I'm a horrible judge of space. Also, I don't see very well at distance, so if I'm not wearing my glasses, that's huge for me. So I don't like the idea of no pre-measuring personally, but that's just because of like the way my brain is built. Doing pretty well. Was there any issues with the box of goodies you received? No, I haven't put it together, but it looks fine. I can put it together later. I have like I'm stress painting right now, so I don't know when I'm actually gonna get to it. I'll try my best, but I told you not to send me anything though, so I don't think you should put me to a deadline personally. I mean, I'm appreciative, but I knew I wasn't gonna have time. I'll have to give the old Munda a try sometime. It is so fun. It is not balanced at all. Like, at all. So if you're going into it thinking it's going to be, like, competitive in any way, shape, or form balanced, it's not. But the imbalance makes it really fun. But it definitely is something I can get really well with, and I know I can outplay my friends without pre-measuring. I do like the idea of adding extra blues, even if it was rough free-handed symbols in more vibrant blues on the actual leather. I'm not free-handing anything. I gotta get this stuff done. But if you're not going to freehand, then I do go with the darker blues so that this doesn't distract from the actual figure. Okay. Maybe I'll block that out tonight if it's not too dry out. Okay. I feel like I'm not painting. I should probably paint. I would say a grudge match could also be one where the factions have a particularly bitter rivalry. Oh yeah, no, I could see that. I heard it when someone mentioned Slaaneshi demons versus Harlequins, as well as Space Wolves versus Plague Marines and Orcs versus Orcs. See, I don't think any of those particular factions are, like, particularly grudgy. If you would say Slaaneshi demons versus, like, Drukhari, I could see that. Or Space Wolves versus Thousand Suns. Orcs versus Orcs kind of makes sense, though. Deadline is before your deathbed, so I don't know, 40 years. Yeah, okay. Maybe 50. In regards to criticisms about the play on tabletop bat reps, I swear anyone that complains about no pre-measures, etc. has no clue about the editing process. Right? Right? That's what I thought. It's definite a lore grudge match between Slaanesh and Harlequins have major beef in the lore. Do they? Do they have major beef in the lore? What did Harlequins do to Slaanesh? Or is it the Laughing God that has beef with Slaanesh? Educate me. I feel like it should be Space Wolves versus Thousand Suns, right? That's what I feel like. I am reading right now Deliverance Lost, which is basically Raven Guard versus Alpha Legion, but like subverted. It's Alpha Legion stuff. And I didn't think that I would actually like Corvus Corax as much as I do. But I do. He seems like a good guy. I always thought Eldar would be vegetarians and avoid any beef. Yuck, 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 yuck. Orcs and Steel Legion are bitter enemies, like Orcs and Tau, or Orcs and other Orcs. Damn Orcs, they ruined Orc land! I feel like Slaanesh and Eldari is more in terms of she just wants all their souls and Eldar don't want to give her their souls. Right? Like, she's just wants everything, you know? Meanwhile, they're like Slaanesh's parents. Slaanesh wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Eldar. Damn kids just take and take and take. Okay, so I know that these little things on the shin pads are black. So I'm just gonna paint this whole little circle thing black. You know, the circle thing. The indented circle thing. So once I get back from play on this time, I think I'm gonna have to like sit down and plan and like actually plan a trip out to Ontario because I miss my friends. Kyle, you want to hang out? Want to hear a Dead Taylor joke? No, suit yourself. Okay. What would be a good grudge match for Necrons? I'm thinking about getting 2 500-point armies so I can play with friends. Eldar? Is it Eldar? I mean, I know it's the old ones, but that's not a playable army. And they've kind of just been, like, asleep. Yeah, I'm not really too sure. Maybe orcs? Right? Because orcs were created by the old ones. I was thinking Adeptus Mechanicus. As Necrons are basically the most blasphemous thing in their religion, and the Mechanicus are doing what the Necrons had forcefully done to them. I think that, like, the Mechanicus secretly freaking loves Necrons, personally. They're always trying to, like, steal their tech. So, I mean, I could see it. I could see it like they want the secrets of the Necrons, and the Necrons don't want to give it up. For the furs, I think I'm going to do the furs on this guy a lighter version of what I did on Ragnar's cloak, with kind of like the lighter edges. I think that's what I'm going to do, but lighter, because this is like black and Baneblade brown, sort of wet blended. So think maybe I'll do like an ivory and maybe dryad bark. You are sure are contentious Xenos. Just made an enemy for life. The Laughing God is basically the first Eldar guard that survived the birth of Slaanesh. Slaanesh has a claim on all Eldar souls, so they don't go through the cycle of rebirth like they used to. By committing to be Harlequins, they sell their souls to Segarach, so he takes them instead of Slaanesh. Except the Solitaire. So they're slap fighting over the souls. Crafters only escape Slaanesh by the Spirit Stones, and the Drakari are just delaying having their souls taken right now by torturing, etc. And clones. Sorry, I keep bumping the camera. I'm sorry. I'm so annoying myself with it. Yeah. Okay. Serious question. Does anybody else's hand spasm when they paint? Because sometimes when I paint for extended periods of time, like I did yesterday, and now I'm painting again, my hand will just like, and like throw the brush involuntarily. Does anybody else get that? Is it just me? Like, I've literally thrown it across this room before, just involuntarily. It's the most bizarre thing. Is the Solitaire rumored to have their souls forfeit to Slaanesh because they play Slaanesh in their plays, which has a massive stigma around them? Huh. Interesting. This is all very interesting. I don't know anything about Eldar lore because I'm just like not big into elves. So I find it super interesting. I don't get spasms, but I'll sometimes lose my grip on brushes. My hand was hurting during building over the weekend, so I had to take it easy. I think sometimes we don't talk about, like, the long-term repetitive use injuries that are associated with hobbying. Like, I don't know how people can paint for, like, 8 hours straight, for example. Like, there are some Twitch streamers who do that. I can't do that. It's too much. Also, my arthritis means I have to get up every, like, 2 to 3 hours. Take a walk around the block. Otherwise, everything seizes up, and then it's just really hard to do anything. I'm sorry. Keep hitting the camera. Okay. Well, I'm just going to do a double check to make sure that I didn't miss anything. A lot of this stuff I'm going to do silver. Oh, I have to do his gun. And I was looking, and his bolter is literally just black and silver. So that's going to be super easy. I'm just going to paint the whole thing black right now. And then I'll go through and pick out some silver details after. know why, but the Vallejo paint is not drying out as fast as the Citadel paint. Must be something in their medium. It makes it workable for longer when it's dry. I mean, it's still drying out. It's still a pain in the butt. It's just not as bad. Okay. I'm just gonna paint this little, he's got like a little pouch here, so I'm just gonna paint that black too. I don't feel like painting this one little thing like a leather kind of color, so we'll just paint it black too. Can't even see it, really. I bet you it's really only there to make sure that the bolter stays in the right spot when you put it together. Okay. So, keep looking, make sure we didn't miss anything. Oh, I did. I missed a gem on his backpack. I'm laughing God's cruelest joke. I'm gonna wait and do his flare last. I think we got all of the red and black color blocking done. Amazing. So next week, I think I'm gonna do the furs, and I'm gonna do the skulls and things on it. So that's gonna be the plan for next week. I am about 20 minutes over schedule, so, I'm gonna go do really dumb adulting stuff like cleaning and stuff. So, I hope that you all have a wonderful day. If you have been working on anything, you know, send me a DM. I'd love to see what you're working on. And yeah, I'm thinking about also opening up the Discord, just the general chat, to anybody who wants to join. So if you would like access to that, also send me a DM. Let me know if that's something that you would like access to. You wouldn't have access to all of the rooms per se, but you can at least chat in the general. So that's that. Turns out my internship wants me, I don't know what WFH means, until the work from home until the internship is over. So yay, I guess. I actually enjoy working from home. Okay, so that's that. Let me know what you want. I'm releasing a video on Wednesday. It'll be another 40k explain video, and I might do an impromptu painting stream later on in the week, but it won't be this guy. It'll probably be this guy or another man-eater, something like him. And that's what we'll do. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today, everybody. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful day. And until next time, be nice and roll dice. Bye, everybody.